Let's get our recording started here. It is 7/13, July 13th. A lot of exciting things happening right now. Teresa, you might know what I'm talking about, huh?
Yeah. Lots of, oh boy.
Chris knows what I'm talking about. I'm looking like the cat that just ate the canary because Judge Torres just ruled in favor of Ripple. So the lawsuit is over.
Oh, yeah. I didn't know. Thank you.
So take a look at your XRP balances. You'll see what I've been saying for a long time. It just happened.
I just made $3,000. Thanks, John.
Yeah, I'm up over 100. Hey.
Nice.
Pretty good stuff. But all right, so back to marketing. Now that I just had to let that ease out a little bit. It's the pressures of this.
Yeah.
Thinking about what's about to happen. Linda, you got your hand up there?
Hi. So this is about the crypto for a second. I have a couple questions. So if I were to miss today's meeting, would I be able to go at another time, join in?
Yes, it's all recorded, so you won't miss out on anything.
Okay, so can I pay later after, because this week is a bad week for me.
Oh yeah, it's no problem. You can get into that anytime.
Okay.
No worries.
Okay, so the XRP, you're not able to do that in New York. So are there other opportunities that you share?
Yes, absolutely.
Okay. So they're by state, or I have to research that kind of stuff, or
I don't know specifically what the deal is with New York. New York is kind of an oddball place. You might check on Uphold though, because Uphold kind of ignores all those ridiculous rules. Like Uphold never delisted XRP. Uphold is selling XRP to US citizens for the last 2 years.
Now, did they just change their name to HODL? Or am I getting scammed?
It's Uphold, UPHOLD.com.
Okay, because I keep getting, it looks like Uphold, but then it looks like HODL. So I'll have to look at it again. Okay.
HODL is actually a crypto term. It means holding your assets.
Okay. And is there a minimum amount for the investment?
No, with Uphold, you can put in, I don't think there's a minimum. I know I've put $20 in before, so I know it's that low.
There's a $5,000 a day limit, I think, on purchasing, and so there's some kind of a limit like that. I saw it once because I mistakenly I had to cash in some of my XRP a couple of days ago. I'm now sorry that I did, but that's how life happens, you know.
Bad idea, Richard.
Well, it was an ER moment, so we had to do it. So
yeah, I get it.
Okay, I think that's it. Thank you. Let me put my hand down.
Okay, Richard, go ahead. Did you have
a couple of questions? The first one you sent me specifically on my account. I'm not ready for leads just yet, so I put it at 1 because that was the lowest number that I had. So that's all I wanted on my account. And I've got a list of questions here based on this. And so I got that one off my list. The AI site code that you give us to put on our site, you said put it on our site, but you didn't say where. I'm guessing that must be in the header or something.
Yeah, you can put it, you can basically put it anywhere in the HTML code. Most people will put it in the header or the footer.
Okay, can I do that from my WordPress login, or should I just have you do it?
You should be able to do that from WordPress. If you don't have a headers and footers plugin, you can get there's free plugins that manage headers and footers.
Okay, that
Now,
answers.
the other thing too, if you are using the Google Tag Manager, you can put it in there too.
Oh, I forgot about that. I may make a note of that.
Yeah, if you're using the Tag Manager, it's perfectly fine just to plug the code right in there. That'll
Okay. I
That'll
forgot
do.
about that little puppy.
Yeah,
Um,
that'll do the trick for you.
The,
Keeps your code clean too.
yeah. The question also is, right now, the way I understand it, you say that a searcher searches for our term. We then hop in their back pocket, see where they go. And you said they consume 2 pieces of content, and then they're considered a valid lead for the purposes of this software.
Yes, it has to be 2 relevant pieces of content.
Exactly. Is there a way or a reason to, because you alluded to it in like a 1-sentence comment at one point and moved on. Is there a way of bumping that up to 3 pieces of content or 4 pieces, or is that necessary? What was that discussion about? Because you didn't complete it. You mentioned it.
That's what I need to know, is if the leads are quality enough with 2 pieces of content. Because if I go to 3, then there's additional data feeds. There's additional costs, and I'm going to have to bump the lead cost up. So I'm trying to keep the lead cost to a minimum. And to me, if they consume 2 pieces of content, they're on a path. But I need to hear from you guys, are these quality leads? Because if they're not, then I might need to do that. I may need to bump them up to 3 or 4 or 5, or, wherever we have to go.
Okay, because the buyer intent part is the magic that this thing provides that nothing else. And well, I can ask you this question because I've never done pay-per-click, so I don't really know. If I do pay-per-click, my understanding, which may be completely wrong, is that I put in 5 or 6 keywords I want, and then they will click, let people click. They'll show my ads to people, search for those words, and they click on it. When I get my report back from the pay-per-click thing, do they tell me what keyword that click was based on? Or is I just say, there's a click and it was on one of these keywords? Do they tell you which one?
No, they have full analytics. So
Okay,
they have a full control panel with your reporting and all that stuff. So you know exactly what's going on.
Okay, so but here again, a click is just a click on something, and we don't know what else, where they go from there. It depends on where the click leads and whether the person actually then signs up, because you can get a lot of clicks with nobody actually, without you ever being able to capture their information, from what I understand, which is where this differs.
Yes, that's correct. In pay-per-click, you are literally paying for clicks. You're not paying for leads. You're just paying for a click to the page that you're getting them to click to.
And you were saying that's typically somewhere between 10 and 25 clicks to actually get to a lead. Is that about where it runs?
There's not really any cut and dry formula for that. It depends on the quality of the clicks and the landing page you land them on. Like if you have a weak offer, you might never get an opt-in. I've seen people that will send, thousands of people to a crap offer and they don't get anything. I've also seen, stellar offers that get just unbelievable, click through and conversion.
Okay. My second to last question, which may be a longer one, is that this is going to be set up white labeled so we can be resellers. We're going to be actually selling this as if it were our own software, correct?
Correct. So you could put your own company name on it. You can change the name of the actual products themselves. Like I'm calling it Search AI and Site AI. You could change the name of that.
Richard, I personally think you should put it as simple, easy, leads and just send them to my website. But yeah, anyway, that's just my opinion, Richard.
Oh, I appreciate that, Tim. I was wondering how to do that. So that's great. My other question is, so that is us being a reseller, if I'm getting your terms correct. So if I'm a reseller, that's when I actually get those additional benefits, correctly? That's for you, right?
Yes. And that will be when we roll out a beta. We're in a beta mode right now just to test the leads, because I want to I want to keep the shit in the horse until it's ready for the shit to come out of the horse.
Absolutely. I understand that completely. The
Because
bigger
one thing I
question-
know is you cannot get the shit back in the horse.
and the process can be very hazardous to your health. I know. Yes.
Yeah.
These are some crappy
Please.
terminologies, John.
Believe me, when it's ready, I'm going to lift his tail and help him.
Well, the question, the question I then have is that how do we sell to someone like, I'll just pick a name out of the hat here, Frank Kern. If I wanted to go to Frank and said, you know, Frank, you've got your AI Rainmaker, which is his email program. I said, how would you like to be able to get some new leads into it? Because he's going to want to become a reseller at that. So how do I resell to a reseller? How does all that work?
So that will be done through our affiliate program. So somebody that wants to promote this, they would sign up for our affiliate program. And just like SitePop, you can promote SitePop out to Frank Kern. You could promote this out to Frank Kern.
Okay, and then he becomes an affiliate and then becomes a reseller, and everything that passes through him passes through me on its way to you, right?
Correct.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. Now, for the question that you were not up for answering yesterday, which I can understand, do you actually have client I mean, when somebody signed, I know I didn't sign a contract for you with signing up for as a reseller for SitePop and all that stuff. So I haven't been necessarily been doing any kind of formal contract between people with that. Do you actually do contracts with people, or is it all handshake? And if they don't like it, they can cancel and you don't care?
Okay, so this is not saying how you should run your business. You're just asking me how I'm running mine.
Yes, correct. I'm not putting you, this is not legal or accounting advice. I got it.
So, and you guys know my modus operandi of being lazy. I have never required clients to sign a contract. That could be good, that could be bad, it could be indifferent. It's just unnecessary minutia and work on my part that, you know, and again, I'm not saying that's the right way to run your business, because it's not. Another thing that I've learned from a multitude of experiences throughout my life is a contract is only as good as the amount of money you're willing to throw at attorneys to make it good, which is why I don't really care about them. Like, if somebody wants to screw me, fine, let them have it. I'm not going to chase them. I'm not going to spend a dime on them. I do not throw good money after bad. It's just the risk I take, you know, and I've been stiffed a few times along the way, but I've probably gotten more business because I didn't require a contract that far outweighs it. It's almost like the guarantee thing. You offer a guarantee to make them feel at ease so you get more business. And every once in a while, you have to make good on the guarantee, and that is okay. It's a cost of doing business. Now, that said, what I would encourage you to do if you're going to do business in a large scale, this doesn't make sense if you're just starting out. Like, I didn't have this when I was just starting out, but there's an insurance policy that you can get, a rider for your business called errors and omissions. And that pretty much covers you for any, like, almost anything that somebody's going to throw at you as far as a lawsuit. And what it does, it prevents, as soon as they see that you have that, they know that your insurance company, before it pays out on that, they have a big law team that's going to defend you. So they're like, yeah, let's not bother with this guy.
Well, a 6 to 8 page contract looks to me like nothing but a big point of snag. And the one thing that you know is that if you have a contract, all you've decided upon is what document you're going to argue over in court. And that seems like a bad place to start. I mean, that's your opening position. That sounds like a bad idea to me.
Yeah, so that's my position. That's what I've done. And again, I'm not saying it's the right thing to do. There's a lot of people that wouldn't feel comfortable with that, and that's perfectly fine. I'm comfortable with it. I go
Well,
on
thank you.
a handshake and a smile is perfectly fine for me in 99% of cases.
Super,
Now,
John. Thank you. That's the last of my list questions. So I'll get out of your hair. Thank you so much.
so let me throw, for everybody else, let me throw one nuance onto that. If you feel that you need a contract to hold somebody in long enough to make it worth your while doing business with them, I have found a way around that as well. Like when I was taking on SEO clients in the very beginning, it was expensive. I was charging anywhere between $2,000 and $10,000 a month to provide SEO services to manufacturers. They didn't like contracts because it was such a new thing. They didn't know if they wanted to do this. They didn't know if it was going to work. It was a brand new thing they were not familiar with. So they were hesitant to sign a contract. Everybody told me you need contracts. So I had one and nobody liked it. So my head is kind of soft. I don't bump it against the wall more than once or twice. So as soon as I ran into that, I took the contract and threw it in the trash, and I came up with a new formula. I said, I have no contracts. You are not bound to me in any way, shape, or form. You can cancel at any time, but there's a setup fee. Whatever your monthly fee is, there's a 10x factor on the first month. So if they were at 2,000, it was a $20,000 invoice for the first month to get started. What that did for me was that got them invested. They were not just putting their toe in the water to see if they wanted to do it. It prevented, I had zero fallout. I told them right up front, I said, look, there's no contract, but if you're not willing to go in and do this for at least a year to really be able to evaluate the results, you shouldn't do it at all. I shouldn't take a penny from you. I was totally honest. That's still true in SEO. SEO is not a dabbler thing. You don't do SEO for 3 months and make a decision whether it worked or not. You make a decision after a year. And I was very upfront with them. I told them, if you are not willing and wanting to do that, you shouldn't do it at all. It's a complete waste of your money. And I'm not here to waste your money. I'm here to go to war for you. If you want a mercenary to go to war for you, you've got one standing in front of you. But if you don't have the stomach to go to war, you should not. You should sit on the sidelines and watch your competitors do it. So that's pretty much the conversations that I had in the very beginning. And almost every time, because that conversation tapped into their ego and their greed and all that, they were like, oh, hell yeah, I want to go with you. And I don't care what it costs. So that the 20,000 or whatever on the front end didn't matter at that point. It was just the way I approached it. The confidence that I displayed in that conversation made them believers. And I never once had one fall out, not once. And some of those jobs were like 10,000 a month. So their first month was 100 grand. So after spending that kind of money, now, if I didn't do that, if they just paid the 2,000 a month, we would have probably got in 2 months and they probably would have pulled the plug because they wouldn't have seen the results, just like I told them they wouldn't. And they would have said, we've been doing this for a couple months. I haven't seen anything. We're stopping it. That is exactly what would have happened. And that's exactly what I didn't want to happen. So that's how I dealt with it. All right. So I just wanted to throw that on top so you guys know how to deal with clients, how to deal with problems. If you've got problems like people falling out, you need to deal with them. And, a contract may or may not be the way. It wasn't the way for me. It was just that creative little workaround I came up with. All right, Rashid, you are up next. Looks like he's trying to
Unmute. There.
you go.
Yeah. Okay. Now I got it unmuted. I've got a couple questions. First, my Uphold app doesn't seem to be working today. It just keeps telling me there's too much, something's not right. We'll get back to you. Or get back
There-
to us.
Yes,
Uh,
there is a lot that, I mean, the market right now is just going absolutely ballistic. In
Okay,
that
last
case,
I checked, I was,
yeah, sometimes what they will do, they will stop trading during times of mass influx. So that's not out of the ordinary.
well, I mean, I can't even get anything into it. I log into it and say something went wrong,
Yeah,
check back later.
yeah. Now I'll be addressing that on the crypto call this afternoon.
Okay, yeah, so
Like, you
last
can
time I checked, I was up about 20%, so
Yeah,
I'm
you can
happy there.
you can expect some mass influx today and some mass volatility today. Probably maybe from here on out. It's gonna be awesome.
Okay, hey, I'm ready for it. The actual question that I had was about Kartra. I tried to upload something onto my site, and the place where I'm supposed to be uploading it doesn't show up. I went to
When you
Kartra's
s-
training, I went to YouTube's training, and it
When you
tells
say
me,
when you say the place that uploaded it didn't go where you thought, what do you mean by that?
no. What I
Is
said
this
is the button that I'm supposed to click to upload doesn't exist.
okay? And is this the button for you to upload a file for a page? Or
Yes.
so they just recently did a major update on some of the interface on Kartra.
Okay.
I went in there to change an image just yesterday, and I'm like, holy shit, where'd the button go?
Yeah,
So-
I was trying to upload a file onto membership site, and it's not there. It
Okay.
doesn't, where it's
So
used
they
to say
have
file,
they have
doesn't
a
exist.
whole new tab on the side now for files. Because
They
before
do.
it was kind of hidden. It was hidden under the membership site, which didn't make a lot of sense. But if you uploaded a file anywhere in any of the pages, it would hide it under the membership files area. But they actually have a whole new place to manage your files now in the
I
sidebar.
don't see it. I don't see it. I see products, communication pages, forums, membership, webinar, media, calendar,
It's media.
survey, help desk,
It's called media.
media.
Yeah, media has all of your files.
Okay, videos, playlist, analytics, images, audio, files. Okay.
Yep. So they're all going to be under that media tab now. But like
Okay.
if you're on a landing page, let's say you're on a landing page and you want a button to download a file. When you click on the button to edit the button, up under the link tab for the button is where you're going to find what your button is going to be attached to. And you can select a download file button. And then it's going to give you a place where you can upload a file or you can select a file from the media library.
Okay.
So that's where you will find it.
Okay. Cool. So that solves that issue.
But
And
that makes it a lot easier for you guys that you've got files uploaded. They're all accessible under that media tab now. That was a good move on their part.
cool. You didn't have anything to do with that input, did you?
Oh, not me. I wouldn't have a thing to do with that.
Okay. I think that's all I can think of at the time. I mean, I've got questions about crypto, but we'll just wait on those.
Okay. Yep. We'll hit that hard at 2 o'clock.
And yeah, and also I have questions about the beta program, but I haven't watched the replay yet, so I'll hold on to that.
Okay. I put the replay out last night for anybody.
Yeah, I saw
that.
the thing.
Yeah.
I got the email. I just haven't had a chance to look at it. Been a busy morning.
Yeah, we had a
So-
lot of people signed up. A lot of campaigns are up, and I think Brady said we were set for like 10,000 leads over the next 30 days to be going out through the campaigns that were set up yesterday. So
Wow.
that should give us a really good grasp on how good these leads are.
Hey, John.
Cooper.
Yeah, go ahead, Randy.
Hey, I'm on my phone. I'm trying to see if anybody else is ahead of me in terms of questions. If I'm stepping on somebody, just let me know. But with regard to two of the things you talked about with the AI, when it comes to prospects, you know, we set it at a certain number, and you said make sure that you're able to keep up with that number, et cetera.
Yeah.
Can you go up or down? Because it's kind of a guess, plugging in a number and whether or not you can keep up with the response
Yes.
to a prospect. So what if you find out you can't keep up yet? Can you go down and work your way back up? I mean, I don't know. I've never done pay-per-click either, so I'm just wondering how is this system going to work?
Yes, it's all completely editable. Like right now, there's some things you don't have access to edit from your side currently. That's going to change real soon. You will be, your campaigns, once we roll this out fully, you'll be in total control of your campaigns. But
Okay.
for right now, we can edit them for you. Brady's been doing that. Brady's been all over it. So he's
Yeah.
there and making sure everybody's got everything they need and all of
And yeah, he is. And I responded thinking it was you, but it was actually him. So I saw his name at the bottom of the email. The second question real quick is, you mentioned a couple of contacts or a couple of, I forget how you said it because I was in the car driving. I'm not driving now. But can you give an example of at least two types of content or contact with prospects that you're looking for? What would that be? Was that the email that you follow up with? I mean, what is that?
no, it's contextual content. It's like, let's say they run a search and they click through. We want to know that they've consumed the content on the other side of that click. And then we also want to know that they've consumed another piece of relevant content on another site. So
Okay.
it's all contextual content. The way that we can do that is, you know, we have the ability to follow them around with what's called a MAID. That's a marketing ID.
Okay.
And then once we identify, okay, this MAID is interested in this topic, then we can take that to big data and we can scrape their info.
So I wasn't going to ask a third question, I promise, but that just leads into one final question. In the case of, for example, if you have a prospect, you reach out to them via email, the email is a long form email, and they decide to connect with you, and you do convert that client just based off of the initial conversation or Zoom meeting or whatever after the email, how are you going to count that? Is that the same way? I mean, you're counting that as the content being consumed?
No,
relevant?
It's got to be before they even become a lead.
Okay.
Before the system will even consider them, they have to have consumed 2 pieces of relevant content based on the search.
Okay. All right.
So it's not just that they searched, it's they actually clicked, consumed the content, and then consumed another piece.
Okay, such as going to your landing page, they look through that, then they actually do something else.
And it doesn't have to be your site. It doesn't have to be your site at all.
Oh, okay. So it could be they're out there looking at other content related to something I offer.
Correct.
Got it. Okay, correct. I'm done.
So,
I'm done.
And again, I want to make sure that I'm clear on that because we have 2 different things here. We've got the site AI, that's looking at the visitors that are actually on your site.
Which I don't have.
That's a different thing. We've also got the search AI. The search AI is the thing that's really exciting. That's
right,
the part where they go to search and they run a search phrase and they go anywhere. It could be anyone's site. It could be your competitor's site. And let's say they don't opt in on your competitor's site, but now they've opted into you because you got their data. This is incredibly powerful.
Got it. Okay.
Now you could set up both. Here's something like if you were a real analytical guy, like I'm really not. I don't care. As long as the money flows, I'm good.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, me too.
I don't need to be in the weeds. I don't need the details. I just need to see the bank account climb.
Right.
But for some of you, you're very analytical. So what you could do, you could set up a search ID campaign And you could be running and getting leads from search. And then you could also set up a site campaign. And then you would know they got to your site because they came through your search leads.
Got it.
If they show up and you cross-reference them, you would know, okay, I'm now gauging the validity that, hey, they came from here, now they're here, now they've opted in, now they're a customer. You could really get into the nitty-gritty as far as your analytics goes.
Mhm, mhm. So if you're downloading the Google Docs or whatever, but also on the site in the dashboard, there's a place where you can just download to Excel. That's there still, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct.
All right.
So you
I
don't
think-
have to use the Google Doc. You can download the information right into Excel. No problem.
Okay. All right.
And there's a lot of programs. I mean, people use a lot of different mailing programs. There's a lot of programs that already have APIs with Google Docs. So you could
Mhm.
totally automate this. Another question that I got was when these leads come into the Google Doc, they were wondering what the lag time is. You can actually see on each lead, it has a time stamp of when that lead was collected. When that lead's collected, it's delivered instantly onto that Google Doc. So these are literally in real time. What you'll notice, if you're just asking it for 5 leads a day, what you're going to notice is whenever that day starts for this machine, those leads are probably going to get delivered almost instantly because it has so much access to data. Like if you wanted 5,000 leads a day, they might be spread out throughout the day because it's not getting 5,000 at once.
Got it.
But like with the SEO software, I noticed it would get me, you know, I cut it down to like 20 leads a day and it'd have me the 20 leads a day in, you know, under 30 minutes. And then
Okay.
when I was over, my budget was out, I was done for the day.
Yeah.
So the idea here, this is really the idea behind paid advertising. The idea is to know your numbers, know your conversion ratio, know what the value of each customer is worth in the lifetime scenario.
Mhm.
Like know that, okay, if they come in and they make an initial purchase, there's X amount of profit today. But that person on average is going to have a lifetime value of XYZ. So at that point, you can make an intelligent decision of how much can you afford to spend to acquire that customer. Like one of the biggest companies on the internet that I know of that sells ebooks, for lack of a better word, they sell newsletters. They sell information. It's basically a guru. They sell over $1 billion a year of e-products in 3 different categories. They cover health, wealth, and preppers. And I'm talking about survivalists, people that think the world is going to end and they're preparing for it. Those are their 3 categories. They sell over $1 billion a year. They know their numbers. It's really hard to compete with them because they know their numbers. They can outperform you in a paid ad campaign because they're willing to spend the most.
Mhm.
You know, Perry says whoever's willing to spend the most on pay-per-click is going to win, hands down. So they're going to get the leads, they're going to get the sales, and you're going to spend a bunch of money and not get much.
Mhm.
So with a guru, they know that their lifetime value, they sell a $20 a month product, right? So they cannot acquire a customer for $20. Now, most people would say, well, I'm not going to do it, right? I'm not going to acquire a customer because it cost me $50 to acquire a customer. I'm just not going to do it. A guru knows that that customer is worth, I think it's worth $180. On average, they spend $180 before they cancel a newsletter. So they
Right.
know that they can afford to spend $120 to acquire that customer. So they're going to go in the hole for 6 months.
Yeah.
They're going to spend, $120 to acquire that customer. It's going to cost them 6 months of income just to break even. But then they're going to make money on the other side of it. So they're investing. It's basically, if you put $1 in, what's going to come out of the machine? And when you figure out your numbers and you understand your numbers and you understand your real business model, then you know how much you can spend to acquire that customer. And at that point, you have a money-making machine. It's how many dollars do you want to feed in, knowing how much is going to come out the other end. That's literally like having an ATM machine.
Yeah.
And scalability, like with this leads program, the scalability on this is absolutely unbelievable because you can feed it an unlimited amount of keywords. It's like, how many customers do you want? It's awesome. It's like nothing that's been available before, as far as I can tell. So it's pretty cool stuff.
All right, thank you.
All right, Jeffrey.
Hey, got a question on the leads. So one of the tests that we want to run is getting leads for consulting. The issue is if we're say doing 20, 25 a day as a test, when the leads come in, is there a way to tune it so that we're actually getting leads for people, that are closer to our decision maker, so that we're not picking up people that are working in the company and are just fishing around for information and learning, because we need like C-suite or VP of type positions.
Yes. All you have to do is you basically are going to rule the quality of the lead by the keyword. So when people start a search, they have more generic keywords. When they get closer to a buying decision, they're asking different questions. So their questions are going to become your keywords. So you need to refine your keyword list to kind of climb up the ladder. It's like the pyramid of awareness. When they're unaware, they're at the base of the pyramid. So in this instance, we can't really reach them. But when they become aware and they start running searches, the first thing they are is they're problem aware. That's probably the ones you don't want, because that's the beginning of the search process. You want the ones that are either solution aware or product aware or offer aware. That's how you climb the pyramid. And the closer you get to the top, the closer you are to a buying decision. So if you've got people that are product aware, they are in the buying process where they're getting real close to making that purchase. So like if I were to want to get affiliates for Kartra, my keywords would have to do with ClickFunnels. People that are searching for, like for instance, a perfect person for me would be somebody that's searching for a ClickFunnels coupon. Right, that's somebody ready to buy. That's what I'm talking about with keyword selection, climbing the pyramid.
No, I get that part. The challenge, this is probably a broader challenge that goes beyond the keywords. The challenge is that it's probably some tech nerd that's doing the search. It's not the person that's going to sign off on the decision if they've got 50 or 100 or more employees.
Okay.
Right, because like the VP of sales.
So what you need,
there's not a keyword specific to what the VP of sales will be searching for. If the
Gotcha.
VP, and there's a broader issue of they may not be doing it anyway, because if it were me personally, I'd be delegating it to staff. That's let them have at it.
So what this does, this is a different problem altogether. This problem rolls all the way back to the beginning of ACT to identify your avatar.
Right.
If your avatar is not the guy that's making the purchase, but the guy that's taking it to him, you just need to know that so you can tailor the conversation for who you're talking to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we're going to be doing smiling and on this particular test, we're doing smiling and dialing.
Okay. Same thing. Though.
instead of putting it into a follow-up system.
Yeah, same thing though. All the same rules apply. It doesn't
Mhm.
matter whether you're doing this face to face, belly to belly, marketing funnel. It doesn't matter. You still have the same issue to deal with. You need to know how to talk to the guy on the other end of the phone. So if he's the tech guy, you better be speaking tech language. If he needs to, if his role is to be the superhero, you better give him the gun that he needs to become the superhero. If you don't, you could be potentially seen as a threat.
Yep.
Like I found that a lot when I was in the SEO arena, and I would show up to a presentation and they've got the guy at the end of the table is the one that's actually going to sign the check, but between me and him is the whole tech team. And if I come in there as a threat, they're going to be 100% against me, and he's going to look to them for advice. But if I come in there and I am not there to threaten them, I'm not there to take their job, I'm there to help them, support them, give them the tools to make sure they don't lose their job. Now they're going to be looking at him going, yeah, this is the guy you want. So you really need to understand your presentation, whose ears it's falling on, and what's important to them. That goes across the entire thing to the core of the whole ACT program. It really doesn't matter what the situation is. It falls to that every time.
Yeah, because we were looking at how do we directly get to our avatar and not, because it's incredibly expensive to talk to 5 or 10 people that can't move the ball forward.
Yeah.
We were hoping to be able to more directly get to the person that we need to talk to.
Yeah. This may not do that for you. This might be a vehicle to get that done for you, but there's no criteria here to search for the C-level execs.
Yeah.
It's just whoever's doing the search is going to give you. And if you find that it's not the right person, then you might be able to tailor the campaign to have that lead you to them.
Yeah. But it can, at the very least, make it more efficient to get to the right person, because there's always the game you got to build the support so that the veto people don't veto the idea when the boss goes, hey, what do you think? Right.
Yeah, exactly.
So it at the very least can make it more, just need to look at the numbers and going, okay, if we can cut out all of the cold leads that just they're not ready, and just be dealing same process, but it's now limited just to companies that we know are looking to do something.
Yeah.
What's the financials on that increased efficiency? Yeah,
that could also, you could do like a very initial upfront pre-close. Like you could say, hey, if this, then that, and split their path. Like if they're in the beginning of that process, you could drop them into a different presentation instantly on the fly. Especially if you're talking to them on the phone, it gives you a unique ability to be able to do that. Where if you're in a funnel, you can still do it, but you have to have an A/B choice.
Yeah.
But totally doable. Absolutely.
Yeah, because this is just one. I've got a couple of different companies already sold on the idea. They want to participate in the beta test. So that gives me access to hot funnels that we know work and that we've got numbers on.
Yeah, absolutely. That's what we're really, really looking for there is people that know the conversion numbers and are able to tell me what level these leads are. So very cool.
Super. Thanks.
All right, Gwen. Gwen is in the house.
Yes. I know yesterday you had mentioned about sending out the login for the beta testing, and I never saw it come in. So I was just double checking that.
Oh, check your email. It went out twice.
Went
Yep.
out.
It went out right
Okay.
after the call, and another one went out about 10 o'clock last night that had the video and the sign up link.
Huh, because I was
Yeah,
checking
I haven't seen it either.
email
I
and
just checked.
spam and everything, and I haven't found it.
Okay.
Yeah, John, I have not found mine either.
Okay. If you haven't, send me an email and I'll look and see what's going on. But they went out twice. One thing that some people ran into was I sent the link out, and the link I didn't realize it was actually the login link. And if you don't have an account yet, you have to click the create account button. So, you know, some people were trying to log in and they're like, okay, I'm not able to log in. And I was like, shit, we got a problem. And then I realized it was just, they hadn't created the account yet. So, so make sure you create the account. Another thing that I totally forgot to mention yesterday was the fact that you do not want to pay for leads that you already own. You don't want to pay for leads more than once. So there's two settings in there. One of the settings is how often do you want to update the lead? Like if you want to know, is this person coming multiple times, you would have to pay for the lead multiple times. I know for me, there's no case that I would ever want to do that. But there are some people that they want to know, okay, how many times has this person visited my site? That's meaningful data to them. To me, it's not. They're there. I'm going to give it my best shot regardless. So, but if let's say you've got a bunch of people that are coming to your site already, or they're searching these keywords on a regular basis, and they're already a customer and you don't want to pay for those leads, there is a whole whitelist that you can put your data into, that if it sees that lead, it will ignore it. And then also the frequency that it will collect the data. I have mine set to never. Like once a lead comes into the database, that's it. I never need to see them again.
And John, that's if you're doing it from your website, right? If you're collecting
Either one.
Not,
that's
oh, I didn't see that under the search to set that up.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think Brady, it's already set to default to not do it.
Okay.
So, and again, when you guys get full access, you'll be able to see all the, you know, all the levers and bells and whistles. We're making it as simple and easy as possible for right now. All right. Was that it, Gwen?
Yes, that's it. Till I can get my hands on it. Thank you.
All right.
I'll send you an email because I'm
Actually,
looking at all my accounts and it.
what I will do, I will put the link in the chat right now.
Well, that works.
And John, we won't see any leads for 24 hours, right? We won't see anything for a while.
That is correct. When the campaigns go live, they actually go into a review mode. They are reviewed and checked out before they're actually put into the network.
Okay.
So that's for everyone's safety. All right. So I just put the link in there. I guess I got to do it to everyone. Okay, here we go.
And do we get a pop-up or anything that says, wake up, you got a lead, or is that something we're just incumbent and check on every day ourselves?
What it does, it will send you a message once a day, I believe.
Okay.
But what you can do, you can just pop up the Google Doc and you'll see them in there. The timestamp will be on there. What we're shooting for is when they come in, they'll automatically be ported into some sort of an automation sequence for you. So the one that we're currently working with is SendGrid. We're working on the API as SendGrid, so you can set that up in SendGrid. So when it comes in, it will just automatically get responded with an email from SendGrid inviting them to one of your Kartra pages to actually opt into your Kartra database. And then Kartra can take it from there. Or if you have Go High Level or ClickFunnels or whatever you have, whatever system you have. Some people don't even have funnel systems, but they've got MailChimp. you know, or some kind of an autoresponder. So whatever system that you have, you'll want to probably port those in. If we don't have the gateway for you just yet, you can always use Zapier or Zapier, whatever they call it, to make that connection for you. All right, Mr. McLean, that bright and shiny face there.
Mr. Limbacher. Yeah. Well, you know, when you got a moneymaker like this, you know, you got to take care of it. Oh, what a call this has been today. At last check, I've made over $7,000 because of you. So there's
Awesome.
there's a sushi dinner in it for you, buddy.
Well, I got that FFG going too. It looks like I just had sex or something because I'm so happy right now.
Yeah, this is the XRP glow.
Yeah. For those of you that don't know, XRP won the lawsuit today.
Yeah.
And the price is going absolutely ballistic.
Yeah.
I'm so happy.
I have a bunch of stuff. 3 quick things to ask you really quick. Does ClickFunnels have an internal function that replaces Giru, G-E-R-U, or is Giru still a good?
It does. It's not as good as it's Guru
Okay.
with a G-E-R-U.
Okay.
So it's an odd spelling, but it's
Yeah.
meant to be Guru. Guru is far superior. It's a far superior product. What Kartra built in was a basic version of it for people that are visual, because a lot of people, they can't visualize what a funnel is. Like they know there's these pieces, but they have to like literally see it on a sheet of paper.
Yes.
So what Guru and the system inside Kartra is, it's a visual builder. It doesn't actually build your funnel for you, but it lets you lay it out graphically.
Right.
So you can kind of see all the pieces and how to connect them and all that.
Yeah. So if you're going to send an email and you're going to send it to this group of people, but if they don't open it, you want it to, I was thinking about that, and it's kind of like people that play chess. You know, they always get in their mind, they can see 10 steps, 10 moves ahead.
Yeah.
And I'm not like that. So, so Guru is a good investment then, in addition to.
Yes. And if you want Guru, if you want to buy Guru, don't pay the monthly price for it. Go on to like Facebook and search for Guru, G-E-R-U. Take a look at their ad and don't buy it. And then come back to Facebook the next day or the next week, and they'll be sending you a lifetime version of it for probably $67, and you can buy it one time and you can have it for life with all the bells and whistles.
Well, John, I think I can speed that process up.
Oh, you already did it?
Because I took that same advice you just gave. I just took that advice you just gave, and I applied it. And I did that, and I sent him a thing. I sent him a request, says, hey, you did this before, can you do it again? They sent me an email. They sent me an email with the link. Here's the offer right here.
Yep.
I clicked on the link, $67 for life.
Yep.
I just bought it.
Awesome.
And I'm happy to put that link in the chat right now.
There you go. Beautiful.
So we'll speed that process up. What do you say? Now,
awesome.
I can't verify. It might have been like a one-time use link or something like that. But either way, I just did exactly what you said. So let me copy the link, put it in there.
I would be willing to bet you any amount of money that was an evergreen funnel they have set up.
Yeah, probably so. So let me.
I have one almost identical to it running in my campaign.
Cool beans. Yeah, and I just got the email. Hey, thanks for joining Guru for life for $67. So I'm trying to find the window. Oh, I need to stop sharing. That's what I need to do. Okay, great. So let me send a message. Let me put that in. And then I have one quick question for you. So here's the link that they sent me for the lifetime offer. So thanks, John. That's very generous of you to share that information. It's about the software you're talking about, the AI lead software you're talking about. The traditional way that you hear to drive traffic is, you go to Facebook and you hang out in some groups that are associated with your topic and you answer some questions and eventually you get them to, say, hey, you sound like a smart guy. How can I get more information? That is a really slow way of doing it. Are you saying that this, and the other way is to, run ads, right? So again, same thing, you run ads and in a group that's associated or talking about what you want to do, and hopefully they take the bait or they see it or whatever. Are you saying that this software is just going to replace that process or at least supplement it?
It doesn't replace really anything. It's in addition to.
In addition to.
So when you're talking about traffic sources and you really want to scale your business, you have a multitude of them. Some of them are slower, like SEO. SEO is still a great way to get leads and convert them into sales because it's the best traffic on the planet. That's never going to go away. But SEO is only one way to do it, and it's a long, painstaking way to get there. It's something that you should just kind of do naturally as you build your business. You should naturally just, be concerned with that. But if that's the only thing you're doing, you're going to put a lot of time and effort in before you get a sale. That's where paid stuff can come in, and it can kind of shortcut that process for you and get you some money flowing through your business. Paying for leads, paying for customers, customer acquisition. It's going to cost you to acquire a customer. There's no other way around it. There is a cost to customer acquisition. The only thing I can see that the only way I can see that you can say that there was no cost to the customer acquisition is, oh, my neighbor sent me a customer over and he just bought. There was no cost involved. Well, you should do something for that neighbor, right? You should, behavior that is rewarded is repeated. So you should spend some money on them. You should do that. Now, the other thing is you probably spent time and effort educating that neighbor on what you do. So if you're saying there's no cost associated with that, you just told me your time is worthless. You don't value your time very much. So I'm telling you right now, there is a cost associated with every sale. No matter how you slice it.
Okay. So what I hear you saying then is the AI software that gives really hot leads or really targeted leads that you're talking about, it's in addition to the other things that people, because as you say that, I thought, well, wait a minute, there's wisdom in what you just said, because it's the hanging out in the Facebook groups. It's the hanging out in the places that it's the analysis part, right?
Well,
I'm listening to what people are saying.
It's worse than that. The thing is, if you have one traffic source, you are putting yourself and your business in jeopardy. Because what happens if all of a sudden they, and I'm not by any means saying that there's any threat of this ever happening, but what if all of a sudden Congress came through and said AI is outlawed? Just boom, no more. What happens to you then? If you're only focused on SEO with Google and Google comes through and says, oh, well, we're going to ban you. We're not going to send you any more traffic. What happens to you? What happens to your business? What if your Facebook account gets shut down and that's all you're doing? You should have multiple forms of money coming into you at all times. Otherwise, you're not safe.
Okay. See, that's like, for me, that's a prime example. I'm always looking for magic beans. Always looking for a magic bullet that keeps me from having to do any work.
There are magic beans out there. You just need a shitload of them.
And
don't put your one bean in one basket.
Right. That'd be a good bumper sticker. But it's so just to end it, it's like it's a recipe. Success is a recipe. There's lots of ingredients. There's no one ingredient.
It's the more you do, the better you will become.
Yeah, because the more you learn.
Yeah.
And
It's
just
like,
that thing. Yeah.
you know, it almost goes back to the lesson I learned from that old machinist guy. You know, when I was young and, you know, aggressive and I was looking to bag the elephant and get, you know, massive customers, he told me, he said, you know, you're better off to get a lot of small customers.
Mm.
And I said, you know, why? You know, why is that? Because I was always, you know, inquisitive. I was an inquisitive little bastard. You couldn't just tell me something. I needed to know why.
Yeah.
So I asked him, I said, you know, what's that all about? And he said, you need to think of your customers or your income streams as appendages. And I'm like, I didn't, at the time, I didn't even know what an appendage was, but he said, you know, if you've got 10, that's like fingers. Fingers are, you know, appendages. He said, if you lose one, it's going to hurt like a bitch. But he said, tomorrow you're going to wake up and you're going to be just fine. You'll be able to function perfectly fine. You know, you might have to make a little adjustment here or there, but you're going to be okay. Yeah. And he said, if you only have 2 and you lose one, that's like losing an arm or a leg. He said, it's going to hurt like a bitch. And when you wake up tomorrow, your life's going to be changed forever. You are not going to be the same. You're not going to be okay. You know, you might live, but your life is never going to be the same. And he said, if you only have one, that's like losing your head.
Yeah.
You're not going to make it to tomorrow. You're done right now.
Yeah.
And he said, if you have 1,000 or 1,000,000, that's like, you know, pardon the pun, that's like hairs on your head.
Oh, so let's go south of the equator here.
We'll say hairs in your beard.
Yeah, whiskers. Yeah, whiskers on my face. That I can relate to.
Yeah, you lose one, you don't even know it. You don't feel it. It makes no difference now. It doesn't hurt. And tomorrow you get up and you won't even know what happened.
Yeah.
So I learned that lesson early on, and it's really served me well. Yeah. Not only for customers, but for traffic sources, for, you know, you cannot have enough.
Yeah.
You cannot have enough people that want to send you money.
Yeah. In all different ways. Well, that makes sense because, you know, the older I get, the more I want to keep my appendages. And so thanks, John. That's a lot of good practical and theoretical stuff in there. It's always fun to talk to you. Thanks.
Awesome. All right. Who is up next? Nobody wants to be a victim of the gun here.
Hey, Chris, I got a question for you.
What's the capital of Montana? Helena.
No, what's a bumper sticker?
Oh yeah, what's a bumper sticker?
Just kidding.
Yeah. Flashback from the past. Boy, you don't see those anymore, do you? I wonder why.
No.
I got a question, and I'm gonna be stupid. What is Guru that you guys are talking about? It's the first time I heard about it.
Guru is a software program to help people visually look at funnels and test them. Like the thing that's really cool about Guru is if you can actually plug your numbers in, and it will predict, like it'll say, if you do this, this will affect your outcome this way. So you can put in your traffic sources, you can put your costs of per click or your cost per visitor, and then you can play around with it, and you can say, oh, well, if I increase my conversion ratio on the opt-in, it's going to actually affect my income on the other end, because you put the product in, you put the amount of profit in each sale, and it can forecast now. It can actually do forecasts on your income.
Oh, fabulous.
It's a way to, and again, this is for bean counters. This is for people that are very into the analytics part of it. It's a really cool program.
That's part of me. I mean, you know me for how many years?
Yeah. If you like to play with stuff and fiddle with numbers, it's like,
well, but here's how I could play it forward also. Once you understand and know how to manage and navigate that software, and I being a marketing contractor, and I'm talking to people with all the different products, And it says, how are your numbers? And I said, well, my numbers is this. Let's have a Zoom session and let me plug the numbers into my guru and see what we project out.
Yeah.
That could be another selling point.
Yeah. But it shows you all the pain points in your funnel too.
Right. That's
Like
yeah.
if you put in your conversion numbers and you say, okay, X amount of people opt in, and then only X amount of people get to the presentation and X amount of people take the offer after seeing the presentation, then you can literally go in and you can play with the numbers. You can say, what if I could get more people to opt in? And it automatically filters the numbers out the other end and said, here's how much you'd make.
Okay, well, I'm up for it because I can see strong potential between the AI offering. Last night I was at one of my mixers, and I was talking about AI leads, and I got people's attention, and the president of the association beelined to me when he heard a little bit of whispering in the background about what I was talking about. He says, "You're up in October for an hour. You be ready." So he's already on my case because he's heard about the other stuff, the CT and the crowd target marketing. He was interested and intrigued about that, and I was going to get like 20 minutes, a half hour, and piggyback off somebody else. But then last night when he heard about AI leads, he says, "You got a whole hour in October. You be ready."
Yeah,
and he's on my case.
From a sales perspective, especially for those of you that are selling to businesses. If you're selling to business owners, one of the biggest things that you can do to create demand and desire is expose problems. Let them discover problems. Just take them on a guided tour. And if you show them, like, let's say you had a guru blueprint of a funnel, and you pull that up on the table and you say, you know, by looking at your business model, I can show you how to increase your revenue by X amount without even getting any more customers, without spending any more on ads. All of a sudden now you've got their attention, right? They're going to make more money, but without doing anything, without spending any more money, they're going to get more profit. And you lay out the funnel map and you say, okay, well, let's look at your lead magnet. Let's first look at that. And they're like, what the hell is a lead magnet? Say, oh shit, you don't have a lead magnet? You just took them on a guided tour that they're missing something. And they're all of a sudden now they're going to be far more interested in you and what you have to say because you know something they don't. So they're going to be leaning in. And then you can say, well, yeah, and the more you educate them, education-based marketing is the best way that I've ever seen to create a relationship with someone and to turn them from a prospect into a customer. So just by walking them through the process of something you know that they don't know is going to be incredibly valuable. And in many cases, you don't even have to make an offer. They will at the end be asking you how they work with you, which I am absolutely in love with that process because I hate making offers. I don't like the conflict of, you know, asking for an order. I mean, to me, that's just like begging, and I don't beg. I'm not a beggar. I like to stack things up in my favor so they just fall in my lap. So that's how I usually do it. And Guru could be a really cool tool for you guys if you're making presentations to business owners for marketing purposes. If you're trying to sell them anything that has to do with marketing and, you know, it's funnel related, they probably don't even know what a funnel is. You know, and you can explain that to them. This is just a digitized form of your sales process. This is a way you automate the sales process. How would you like to have more sales without paying more salespeople? Without the headaches of them calling in sick and having problems and, you know, they're all this stuff. There's a lot of minutia to run a sales organization. The people that are paying the bills that are in charge of that sales organization, if you can make their life better, you will be their friend. If you can automate processes, they're going to want to work with you. They're going to want to get real close and snuggle up. Right? So
essentially, John, even though I run into somebody at some of my mixers and said, oh, I'm the sales manager, I'm the sales director, they might not know everything. Because when I bring up crowd targeting, 90% of the time they don't know about it. And I'm going like, and it goes on my head. I don't insult them, but in the back of my mind is saying, you're a sales manager and you don't know about crowd targeting. You know about geofencing. I don't. Okay,
Yeah.
fine.
Oh, that's another really, I mean, the way you just said that was perfect. Acting surprised. Like that was one of the biggest things when I would do an SEO presentation and I would get the person to sit down in front of the computer and run the searches. And I would lean in over their shoulder, you know, like my head would literally be right next to their head and we'd both be looking at the screen and I'd be acting surprised. I'm like, wow, do you recognize these people? And I know the answer, you know, I've already got the answer to the question before I asked it. I know they know who they are. It's their competitors. And then I'd go, wow, I'd act surprised again. I'm like, wow, what do you figure this is costing you to not be here when your ideal customer's running that search? What is that costing you? You know, it's that element of surprise in your voice makes them think, oh my God, I really screwed the pooch on this one. And then they're going to lean to you to help fix the problem. So it's a really good binder to, you know, to create that surprise. It's almost like you two discovered the problem together. You know, it's like you both went on an adventure together. And I know Jeffrey knows about this because he builds relationships on business adventures. You know, he'll take a bunch of execs out and they'll actually have an adventure together and, you know, learn some stuff. And it's a cool process. Learning together and having adventures, and you form a bond with the people that you have the adventure with. You know, when I went and I did a presentation at Notre Dame, and, you know, I'm not really into status stuff and all that kind of crap, but they said, you know, if you use the Notre Dame emblem, there'll be a lot of people because they all shared that experience of going to Notre Dame. And they have this bond, this camaraderie. And if they see the logo on your car or you're wearing a Notre Dame sweatshirt or whatever, they said they will want to work with you. And, you know, I found it when I heard that the first time, I'm like, that's bullshit. But I've seen it over and over. It's like that common bond. Even though you weren't there at the same time, you shared the same adventure. The same discovery, the same process. It's like a sisterhood or a brotherhood. You know, it's weird, but it's
called fraternities, John. They're called fraternities and sororities.
Yeah.
Well,
again, I didn't participate in that stuff, so it's weird to me, but it's a real thing.
Well, here in downtown, Harvard has a big club. I don't know, the Harbor alumni. When they do a party at City Club, that thing is packed.
Yeah.
Several hundred people show up. It's amazing.
Yeah. All right. I think that is Chris there at CNC. I think that's Chris, Mr. Rosen. I don't know if he's still with us or just in the background. All right. We'll go on to Gary.
I may have a different question.
Okay.
Anybody else? I'm in a unique health industry that's highly regulated.
Okay.
And I have a big ticket item that is a one-time lifetime purchase. So my question is, everything I've been hearing over these months is about repeat business and
yes.
You know, a monthly, you know, that sort of thing. Am I barking up the wrong tree?
No. You are just missing one key element. So the thing here is your product might be a one-off thing, and that's okay. There's nothing at all wrong with that. Nothing at all. But what you need to understand is your customer doesn't, well, I don't know. You said you were in health. I don't know if they die at the end of your process or not. But if they continue breathing after your process is over, then they have a complete life after you. And all you need to do is knowing who they are, knowing what their problem is, knowing what you solved, you have an insight into their life, the way it's going to be from after you on. And they're going to consume a multitude of products and services for the rest of their life. So all you have to do is become an expert in what they need next and create an affiliate relationship with that company. That way, you know, once you've given them what you give them and they got the benefit that you offered, you can just create an extended funnel that says, hey, you know, now that we're here, you might be interested in this XYZ product because it's the next step for you. I don't do it, but I'm happy to introduce you. And now all of a sudden you have an additional revenue stream. And then all you have to do is just do the same thing. Understand how long that process is going to take. And remember the timeline. The timeline is where they are currently, current state. And then the end of the timeline is where they're transformed to after you're done with them, after they've consumed your product. You've basically taken them from A to Z. And just understand that there's a new timeline at the end of every timeline. They start over. You know, people have timelines on an hour by hour basis in our life. I mean, think of it this way. When you get up in the morning, you have a problem. You're hungry. You're on a timeline. That's your current situation. So breakfast is going to take you to the end of the timeline. You'll be satisfied. Then the timeline starts over. You know, you're full. The end of the timeline is you're full again. You know, there's going to be a few meals a day. Just think of the timeline. It's going to go on for the rest of their life. And the more you can anticipate what they're going to need every step of the way, the more they will look back to you and rely upon your recommendations as they move forward through their life.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just a different way to look at things. There's a lot of money laying on the table, on every table as you walk through life. You just have to figure out how you're going to pick it up. So,
hey, John.
Hey, there's Chris.
I'm here with Callie. She's driving.
I wondered if which one of you was behind that little flower. Could have been a toss-up.
Yeah. So we were watching the information on the AI, and I was trying to fill out the form, the information. Do I need to have a company to fill that out using the Google profile?
No, you were a little broken up there, but you can use the lead generator, the AI lead generator. You don't need a company involved. It's just generating leads. So you can literally generate leads based on any keywords that you want.
So we fill out the profile on, I used my login for Google to sign in.
Oh, that's fine. That's just giving you access to the program.
And this is a beta platform that you have.
Correct.
You're developing.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
could Callie sign up for her sound bowl therapy and all that stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, the beta is open. I'm imagining we're probably 2 months out from the actual rollout, but
awesome.
anybody's able to use it, you know, between now and then in the beta mode.
Awesome. And by the way, thank you for the XRP thing. I got in last month. Actually, I backed the truck up literally.
Awesome.
I took everything off of Uphold.
Yeah.
So I, by the way, tell everybody that they need to remove everything that they have off of the exchanges as quickly as possible. Do not trust exchanges.
Yeah, that is going to be a big topic of conversation this afternoon. Okay. Yeah, it's up. I just looked. It's up to 80 cents. I'm up well over 100 grand today.
Yeah, I did the research on this, that basically the flywheel will kick in on this once the institutions actually realize that this is now the only blockchain with regulatory clarity.
Yeah, well, it's way bigger than that. It is so much bigger than that. I mean, I'm hesitant to go into it here because I don't know if everybody is into that, but
John, go into it. Go into it. Go into it. You're past an hour. You're almost an hour and a half. You have the diehards here. We deserve it.
I know I've got a few anyway, but
Yeah, you spent 2 hours a couple of months ago. That's when I got in.
no, it's like XRP it's a bank related utility. It is a cryptocurrency, but it's not really made for retail. It's a bank. It's the way they're going to move money worldwide. It's like the framework for the way money is going to be moved. It's almost like when the internet came on, there's different protocols within the internet. Like everybody just thinks the internet's the internet, and that's how they're thinking about crypto right now. But the ones that really understand there's frameworks underneath the hood of the internet. Like there's email protocols. The email protocol is a utility that runs within the internet, but nobody sees it as that because it's just hidden. And that's what XRP is going to be. It's going to be the protocol under the hood of crypto that's moving money worldwide. And the adoption of it is going to be the thing that drives its price. Like with Bitcoin is just a speculative asset. There's really no utility to it. It's worth whatever anyone's willing to pay for it. There's a chance, there's a small chance that it could come out as some sort of a store of value. But other than that, in my opinion, it just doesn't have much value. It's got no utility. It's a prototype. Whereas XRP is almost as old as Bitcoin, and it was built for a specific utility that is being adopted worldwide. The US is the last pin to fall. And I know you guys have probably heard that the government is moving to digitize all currency. They're about to get rid of the dollar. They're not going to get rid of the dollar itself. They're just going to digitize it. Just like they didn't get rid of mail, they digitized it. We have email now. Well, you're going to have e-dollars soon. And we're all very used to it because we all use ATM cards. We're already there. There's going to be a big fight, though, when they actually take the dollar bills away. And they're, in my opinion, I think they're about to do it. That's going to be digitized money. Now, the thing that's bad about it is they've got this thing called a central bank digital currency. The central bank digital currency has an evil component to it, because what that means is they can track and trace everything that you do with your money, because it's all digitized and it's all under their hood, so to speak. And but what ultimately will happen, like I've listened in on a lot of the public hearings and congressional hearings, and I think it was Janet Yellen that was talking about the way they're going to do the transition. For them to move the money from fiat money to digitized money, they're going to have to take the system offline. So that means banks. The banks will have to close. They were literally talking about this in a congressional hearing. She was answering to how they're going to do it. They have a plan in place. She said it will be, this is her words, it will be a Friday night. Not any day of the week. It will be a Friday night. And the banks will go offline when at the end of the business day, not to come back online till the following Wednesday. So the banks will literally be shut down from Friday, possibly to Wednesday. Now that's going to create some major chaos. People that are dollar to dollar, paycheck to paycheck, they need access to money like constantly, and they don't have any saved or set aside. That's going to create some major chaos. Just the idea if the general public, if the American people knew that the banks were going to close for that long, they would freak out. They would think, oh my God, the world's coming to an end. I have to get my money out of the bank, and they'd all rush the banks, and the banks would be screwed because they don't have the money, and it would just put everything on its ear. So they don't want to create that sense of chaos. So they're keeping everything under the lid, all things status quo. Now, again, this is just me thinking more or less, what would I do if I had to do this? If it were my job to create a digital currency and swap the system from fiat to that digital currency, what would I do to have the least amount of collateral damage? To me, the biggest thing is communication. We live in a world where we're connected to this thing called the internet. We can share our views with the world at an instant. The world has access to information like it never has before. So the chaos is going to happen real fast. When people discover the banks are closed and they can't get access to their money, first thing they're going to do, cell phones, email, YouTube, internet, and everyone on the planet within a few hours is going to know. And the chaos will ensue. So if it were me, I'd cut the communication. I'd cut it first thing. The grid would go down and no one would be able to communicate while the thing, so they would be so focused on, oh my God, why doesn't my phone work? Why can't I call? And they would be so focused on that problem at hand, they wouldn't even know what was going on, the real thing. It would be a distraction. So, I mean, that's when the mastermind criminals operate, during a chaos, during a distraction. They create that so they can do what they need to do and get in and out unnoticed. And another congressional hearing sometime within the last month, I saw where they were handing out, all the senators, all the people in Congress got issued satellite communication devices for the first time in history. They all got handed out, and I'm like, okay, they're going to cut the communication, and they'll still be able to communicate, but they don't want us to. So that has been done within the last 30 days. They're all carrying these devices. They're ready. The other thing, I mean, there's so much about this. It just makes my head spin. But they've also, I don't know if any of you have heard it, but they've put a narrative out in the media that there is a global threat to the banking system from cyber terrorism. Now, whether that's true or not, I don't know. But thinking to what I would do, it's the perfect alibi. It's the perfect reason to take the banks offline. And what happens when they come back with a digital currency? It gives them the perfect excuse. We had to do this to save your money. We protected you. We converted your we converted your fiat money that was at risk of loss from the cyber attack to a digital currency to protect it. We saved you, and now they're the hero. So again, you know, I don't like to be, I don't even like to think this way, because if I had heard this from somebody a year ago, I would have thought they were a conspiracy theorist and an absolute nut job. And I don't ever want to be seen that way, but there's just too many things that are stacking up to say this is probably what's going to happen. And I know it's the perfect crime. It is the exact way that I would do it. So there's some things that have to be in place for all this to happen. One of them is globally, worldwide, all the banks have to be on the same platform, which is ISO 20022. That's the bank standards that they all have to be on for this to work. That was set to go live in March of 2025. That was the projected date for the ISO 20022 to be live, in place, ready to function. Now, think about this. You're talking about a worldwide network of banks here, all having to work together in unison to collaborate to make that happen. That is a task that's a monumental task, bigger than probably anything that's ever happened worldwide. Getting everyone to work together to do the same goal. That's a new thing. And you would think it would take longer. You'd think, yeah, they're trying to get it done in March 2025. It'll probably be here by March 2030, right? That would be my initial thought. Well, that's not what happened. It went live March of this year, 2 years ahead of schedule. It's in place right now. The XRP, the very thing that's going to move all this money on the rails underneath this Goliath, the only thing holding it back was that lawsuit the SEC put on it to slow it down so the banks would have time. The rest of the world's ahead of us. The rest of the world has been putting these standards in for the last 3 years, probably more than that, but very aggressively for the last few years. And they're all up and ready. They're all up and ready to pull the plug on it. The US is the one that was behind schedule. So the lawsuit that was put by the SEC 2 years ago is put in place, I believe, to slow the system down so we could get ready, so our banks could be on board with it. And again, this is just my opinion. This is like my observations and me piecing the stuff together and sharing what I think about it. I don't have some inside track. I don't have somebody whispering in my ear, somebody that's, from the government telling me what's going to happen. It's just my thought process. And it is the same thought process that I've used to figure out what Google is going to do every step of the way. Since Google started, I have been telling people what they're going to do next, and I've been 100% accurate on every account. And I'm pretty good at that game. And this is just a different level. I don't know, maybe I won't be as good at this one, but it's the thought process. And it's like, what would I do? I always think of that. What would I do if I needed to manipulate this outcome? I always thought, what would I do if I was Google? And I told all the people in SEO, I'm like, if I ever go to consult for Google, you guys are screwed. Because I know everything that you could possibly ever do, and I'd cut you off at the knees. But anyway,
So what do we do when the banks are actually shut down for that weekend?
You do what you do every day. You get up, you take a big breath, you have breakfast. It's only going to last a few days. And, eventually, don't freak out. There's nothing to freak out about. They're not taking your money away. They're just turning it into digital. You've got an ATM card that may or may not work. I don't know. The people that are going to really flip out about this are the ones that are really unprepared. Literally, they have no food and they use an ATM to buy what they need minute by minute. Yeah. They might be a little in chaos over this, but most
will it shut the credit card systems down, John, or no?
I don't know. I'm thinking if the banks shut down, the banks are the credit cards.
It's like a reset.
And if they shut the internet down, if they pull the plug and cut the communication, we will literally be in the Stone Ages. I'm not saying they're going to cut the grid and cut your power. I'm talking about a communication cut. I mean, we will literally be sitting in the Stone Ages for a few days. And like I said, don't freak out. I believe this is all part of their plan. This has been planned out for a long, long time. It's just coming to the head, coming to the end of the rainbow. I've told everybody since day one, the whole SEC lawsuit was absolute bullshit. There was no way that XRP was going to be seen as a security, which that was what the lawsuit was all about. It was a complete sham. That came to fruition today. It came out. It's not a security. That was the only thing holding it back. The rest of the world knew it wasn't a security. They, you know, it's things that are going on in the US is pretty crazy. But this will be like I said, you've got 3 technologies coming together all together at one time in history. You've got blockchain, you've got AI, and you've got the thing that makes both of them go, which is quantum computing, the horsepower to actually run these systems. All converging, coming together, and we're in a unique time. There's never been a time like this. There's never been opportunities like we've got right now. If you could look back, you look back to the internet and you could see where the money was made. It was in the rails. It was in the systematic rails that got put in. Like, if you think about how much money that AOL and CompuServe made in digitizing email, they were the first rails down. And yeah, they've been replaced now, but they made so much money. It was ridiculous. People that owned stock in those companies, it was an awesome ride, you know. And then the second wave of the internet came, and that was e-commerce. That was digitizing commerce, products, sales, shipping, and Amazon and Google, you know, and eBay. There was a handful of companies that became the rails of digital commerce. And this is the third wave. This is the third and final wave of the internet, which is the financial system worldwide. And the rails on this one are going to make the rest look like a nursery rhyme. There's going to be the biggest transfer of wealth in human history goes on here in the next few years. And that's my story. I'm sticking to it. I believe it's true, but I have no proof to offer you. So that's the best I can do.
But you got an extra $100,000 today, John.
I do. That was last time I checked.
I can't even check. He won't let me.
Actually, it didn't just take my XRP up. It took my whole portfolio up. I'm up probably 150 at this point.
Rashi, I got in a few minutes ago, so just keep the faith, keep trying.
On the upload?
Thanks.
Yeah.
Why did someone say get off the exchanges?
Because the exchanges, if you have your crypto on an exchange, it's kind of like an exchange is a brokerage house. It's like, are you guys familiar with buying stocks and bonds?
Yeah.
Like if you go to E-Trade and you buy a stock, the person that actually owns the stock is the one that holds the certificate. That's really the person that owns that stock. Like if they take your certificates, they can go cash them in, right? Well, crypto is no different. And when you own crypto on an exchange, there's a thing there. It's not a stock certificate. It's called keys. It's the keys to the crypto. And blockchain is like it's like a massive spreadsheet. It's like a huge Excel spreadsheet. And every cell has a key to what's inside it. Think of each cell as like a security deposit box in a bank. And each cell has a set of keys that opens it up. Whoever holds the keys actually owns what's inside that box. So if you have money or if you have crypto in an exchange, the exchange is the custodian for you and they own the keys. So that means they own the crypto. You just have your name on it. The problem with that is if that exchange goes belly up, where goes the keys? If that exchange gets sued and goes bankrupt, all of the stuff that's inside those cells is all the assets of that company that's now in bankruptcy, and now your assets are now their assets tied up in court. So you don't actually own them. You don't control them. If you remove those cryptos off of the exchanges and you take your own custody of them, then you own the keys. And there's a saying in crypto: if you don't own the keys, you don't own the crypto. He who holds the keys holds the crypto. So that's the thing. And to hold them like this, I don't know if you guys can see this thing or not. It looks like a little USB device. This is called a hardware wallet. So you can transfer your crypto onto this hardware wallet, which holds your keys, and now it's in your possession. So you have control of it. So if the exchange gets sued, if the exchange goes belly up, there's a war. The SEC is at war right now with all the exchanges. They're trying to get rid of them. They do not like the crypto exchanges because the crypto exchanges are a problem for the banks. See, the banks are trying to figure out how they become relevant in the future. Otherwise, they're going to disappear. And the SEC, as much as we want to think that they're here for our protection, they're here to protect the banks. They work for the bank. They don't work for us. They don't even work for the government. They work for the banks. And that's why they're trying their damnedest to disrupt crypto, because crypto is a bank disruption technology. Remember, like I said, you know, when a door closes, a window of opportunity opens. Well, the banks are the thing that the door's getting closed on. They don't like it. So my prediction there is I believe that the banks ultimately will become the crypto exchanges so they can stay relevant. And I think to do that, they have to shock the system and they have to destroy all the crypto exchanges. So what is currently going on now with crypto exchanges could be radically different a year from now, or even a month from now, tomorrow for that fact. Look at all the exchanges that just recently got taken down systematically. FTX was the biggest fraud ever. The SEC covered it, protected it, let it happen. Look at the guy behind it. He's not even in jail. He's at his parents' condo in New York. Tell me that's not by design. You know, how does that even happen? This is all a big show, a big planned out deal. And again,
Do you think you should diversify and have crypto and then gold and silver?
I think gold and silver is a good idea. And diversification is a good idea.
Yeah, like the appendages.
Exactly.
Right.
So
if you have stock, do you think that the stock, you should sell all your stock and just put it into crypto, or do you think the stock exchanges will survive?
I don't really know. I'm not an expert in that at all.
Okay.
I don't think the stock market is going to be near as affected as the banks, though. I think the stock market will remain. I mean, all stock is, think about this, stock is you're investing in a company. I don't see that going away.
Okay.
And when you invest in crypto, you're basically investing in a technology, not in the company, just in the technology.
I see.
If the technology gets adopted, its value goes up. What I don't think I explained here is there's a difference between crypto being a technology and being a utility. The utility means it's actually used for something of value. Like XRP, if it's going to move money, it has to take on the value of the money that it's moving. So if XRP is going to move all the money in the world, that intuitively tells me it's going to have, its value is going to have to match all the money in the world. So when it gets adopted and in place being used, I believe its value will have to match that, which will put it into the thousands of dollars, if not tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands per crypto.
Oh my. So if, because I'm in New York, they have Uphold, you were talking about Uphold, they don't cater to New York.
Yeah, that I don't know. I'm not sure.
So is there another wallet?
I can tell you, I can tell you this, that I didn't know about Uphold until fairly recently, like maybe 6 months ago is when I discovered Uphold. And as a US citizen, XRP has been off the exchanges and unavailable to US citizens since the lawsuit started back in 2020. It didn't stop me from buying it. The way I did it was I set up an exchange offshore called KuCoin. And the KuCoin, I believe it's in South Africa. So what I would do is I would buy a crypto here that was available on our platform, like Ethereum or whatever. It doesn't matter. You can buy any of them. And what I would do, I would send it to South Africa. I would send it to my exchange in South Africa called KuCoin. And then I would convert it to XRP. And then I would send it back home into my wallet. So that's how I've been getting it for the last 2 years. And I've acquired a massive amount of it.
Happily, John, Uphold, I bought it directly from them. They have it in the wallet and I sold it through them. So Uphold is, you can do it freely anywhere.
Yes, that's correct. But I didn't know that a couple of years ago, so I had to do it the hard way. But the moral of the story is if you were in New York, you could do the same thing that I did. You could create
I could go to a different state.
Correct.
So you get a lawyer for, or an accountant to do all that? Because I don't know anything about.
I literally just went to KuCoin.com. I opened up an account. I never verified my citizenship. So I just kind of stayed under the lid there with that account and just used it to convert.
And how do you spell that?
It's KuCoin. KuCoin. So KuCoin.com. So I'm the kind that nobody's going to tell me I can't do something. I'm going to find a way.
I see.
And I'm very glad that I did. But I've been acquiring XRP for probably 4 years now. I knew this was coming. I could see this coming miles out because it's the same thing as what I've been through with 2 waves now of the internet. The whole adoption thing. I was there in the beginning. I saw how the first wave formed and what it did and how it worked. And I saw the second wave, and I actually rode the second wave not knowing what I was doing. But now I'm in position and I've seen the pattern. I know what's going on. And this one will be the last wave I probably ever need to ride. So that's what I'm thinking.
We're speechless, John. It's an amazing thing to watch.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's actually an incredible time to be alive. This really is. The thing is, most people don't know what's happening. They don't see it. It's going on. And a year from now, they're going to look back and go, wow, I should have bought Amazon.
John, do you think it'll retrace?
What's that?
Do you think it will retrace back to like $1 or? Some people say it'll go up to $5 and then retrace.
Yeah, no, I think what's going to happen, like I said in the beginning, XRP was not made for us. It's not made for retail holding. The banks are going to want to own as much as possible. The big institutional investors are going to want to control this. They're not going to want us to take a ride like that. They're going to want to get the big ride. So again, the lawsuit was to shake people out. You know, it was to keep people from getting in on it. Now what's happening is the lawsuit's over. We've got the initial FOMO. So you're going to see it spike. I believe it's going to go up. I don't know how high it's going to go up, but I do think that there's going to be several more shakeouts. And, you know, a shakeout would be, okay, let's say it hits $5 and all of a sudden now it drops to $3, $2, $1. And everybody's like, oh my God, the sky is falling. I got to get out now. I got to take profit. And as soon as they do, they're all going to dump out at the bottom like the dumb shits that they always are. And then all of a sudden it's going to the moon and the banks are going to go, all right, we did it again. We screwed them again.
Yeah.
And yeah, I think there could be several of those. My thing is, of the bag of XRP that I have, there are certain portions of it where I have sell limits. I have positions where I'm going to sell out small portions on the way up. But the majority of what I hold, I will hold forever. Because once this gets adopted, I don't know if, and I didn't say this, but what I think is going to happen is the people holding this will basically be the bankers of the future. You know how the banks take your money in and then they loan it out and they make a bunch of money and they give you nothing? The people that hold these assets are going to be in that category. And you will be able, like if you're holding multi-millions of dollars of XRP, you will be able to do what's called staking. The internet and the crypto world has a thing called staking, which is basically loaning it out just like the banks do. So you will be able to stake your cryptos and you'll be able to make percentages on them. The SEC came through and just kiboshed all of that recently. Because again, they don't want you doing that in the exchanges. That should be held for the banks. That's why I think this is all going to move into the banks. But I was staking several of my crypto assets, getting like 8 and 9% annually, which, you know, you can't get that in the banks. There's no way. So if you're holding millions of dollars worth of crypto in the future and you stake it, that will be your income. You know, that'll be your retirement. So there's a big chunk I will never sell because of that. That is held for staking in the future. So hopefully that.
So how high do you think it will go, John?
I don't really want to say that because it'll make me sound crazy. It will absolutely make me sound like a nut job if I tell you where I think it's going to go.
I did the math, John, so I'll be the crazy one. I looked up on the internet, Googled what is the total amount of value of the entire planet. And it's a smaller number than you would think. It's like a 500 trillion or 600 trillion. I mean, it's like, that doesn't sound like that much money for the whole wealth of the world, but that's what they say is in terms of currency. If you divide that by the 500 million shares of XRP, it puts it over $100,000 a share. That's what the math says, if they use the world value as the basis for the currency.
Well, if you look up Linda P. Jones she's a financial wizard, she came up with 125,000.
Per coin.
Per coin, yes. Which the amount that I hold, that'll give me about $30 billion. Wow. So I'm good with that. I am perfectly okay if she's right. But I mean, it just doesn't sound, it just doesn't sound like it's even possible to me.
Yeah, I thought $1,000, but yeah, now I'm like,
A
oh,
1,000 won't cut it. 1,000 won't cut the value that it's got to cover. It's not even close.
yeah, because it has to be able to work with countries and institutional transfer.
Yeah. Well, like Brad Garlinghouse is the CEO of Ripple, and he's been going to the Davos conference here for the last few years by invite. It's by invite only. And when he got back this last year, got back from the conference, and he's on Twitter, and I follow him on there, and very rarely am I actually on Twitter looking at stuff, but I happened to get an alert, and I was in there, and when he does a post or a tweet, whatever the hell they call it, it pops up on my feed instantly. Well, it popped up, and it was right after he got back from Davos. And I think what happened was, I think he was sending that to his CTO, and he realized that it went out public, and he instantly retracted it. But I got to see what it said before it happened, and it was like gone. I couldn't find it after that. And what he said was, "This is the last time I will attend Davos as a non-trillionaire." And not billionaire, trillionaire. And I know he's got 8 million shares of XRP, because that's the founder split. So if you divide 8 million into a trillion, that's 125,000. So that's where I got my number.
So who is that? Who was the guy? What was his position? What was the connections there?
Brad Garlinghouse is the CEO of Ripple. So he's the head of the company. So that was what I saw. Again, it's not out there. You can't find that anywhere. It was you had to be at the right place at the right time to even see that. And it was seconds. It was gone in seconds. So I'm like, okay, did I just like see the future? I certainly hope so. But
So if I have say 4,000 or 5,000 coins, where would that put me?
well, if you had,
there's a little button called calculator on your in your toolbox.
I'm just trying to confirm it.
Well, for every 1,000 shares that you have, that's $125 million.
Okay.
Per 1,000. Like I got my nieces and nephews set up like a year or two ago, and I basically gave each one of them 1,000 shares. I said, you set up an account, I'll put 1,000 shares in for you and match whatever you want to do. I'll match it. So if that happens, that's 125 million for each of them.
So if you have
so
whatever
college,
that's half a billion. Okay.
Yeah, that's not a bad take.
I can live with that.
Yeah, that's why, those of you that listened to me and followed that, I hope we'll all go meet up on my island somewhere.
Looking forward to it.
And as Gregory said, there will be sushi for all.
I better learn to like sushi pretty fast. Huh?
We will be in a very elite club, but there's so few people worldwide that actually hold XRP. It's crazy. The number of people worldwide that actually hold XRP is less than the population of the city I live in worldwide. And when you look at the percentage of the ones that hold different levels of it, most of them hold a very small amount. And it shocks me to know that, like, when you look at the grouping that I'm in with the amount that I have, it's the top 1/10 of 1% of the holders. So it's like,
yeah, exactly.
It's like, I'm hoping I made the right bet here.
I'm hoping to.
So anyway, I hope I don't I hope I didn't make myself look like a buffoon to anybody that's not a believer in this, but again, I don't have a tinfoil hat, so I'm not going to put that on.
Well,
Well,
John,
I'm still
there's a
not able
friend-
to.
John, there's a friend of mine who lived in Santa Monica many, many, many years ago. And I'll just call him Bob, so you have it. And everybody thought Bob was crazy. He was crazy Bob, running around buying all this stupid waterfront property, and nobody understood it.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden the property values showed up, and now he's the wealthy Bob, because now he has millions and millions of dollars of waterfront real estate. He says, but I never became smart Bob. Welcome to Smart John.
Well, for those of you that are going to be on the 2 o'clock crypto call, I've got some shakeout numbers I'm going to share on there where I think it's going to spike to, and I think it's going to plummet from there. So if anybody wants to take profit, this will be the number to do it. And then you can basically buy back in after it flushes to the bottom and go for the real ride.
Come on, John, do a little lost leader. Tell us what the number is, because I want to get on that call.
You'll be on there, won't you?
Unfortunately, the reason I had to liquidate some of my crypto money is really tight right now. I don't have an extra $500 to throw at it. So, but
Yeah.
I would like to know what the number is.
Well, it's been like all of these guys, all these elite guys that are pulling the strings on this stuff, they talk in code and they use a lot of stuff that I'm good with codes. I decipher shit all the time. So one of the codes, one of the numbers that keeps coming up, that's not natural. This is not a natural number, but it keeps coming up, is 589. Like, look at the number of followers on all Brad Garlinghouse's profiles. It's 589. That's not natural. They talk about 589. They talk about flip the switch. I think 589 is the number it's going to spike to, and then it's going to plummet. And a lot of people, this will be the final shakeout before it goes to the moon. People see that 589, they'll see it start to fall off the other side, and they'll be selling all the way down, all the way.
$5.89 or 580.
589. I mean, it could be $5.89, but I don't think so. I think it's going to be 589.
I've been seeing that all over the place too. I never quite got it with the Bearable Bull and all the other people that are talking heads. I never understood that.
Yeah, I think that's going to be the flush out number. They're going to hit that. Euphoria is going to take place like you've never seen before, because here you got guys that have been buying XRP since it was 20 cents. And it hits 589, they're all going to be wealthy. They're going to be filthy rich, and they're going to dump it. They're going to take the money and run. They've been waiting too long. They're not patient. They're going to take the money and run, and then it's going to plummet. They're going to laugh, and then it's going to shoot to the moon, and they're going to go, what the hell just happened? They'll still be okay, though. I mean, 589 is a great haul. I'd be happy with that. I'm not going to be, but I would be. So, all right. Well, anything else before we wrap up?
Thank you, John. Really appreciate your taking the time to do that. You didn't have to, and I really appreciate it. And you're 4 minutes late for your call.
No problem. All right, guys. Well, have a great week. We will see you all next week, and who knows what will happen by next week? We might all be in the dark and no communication. Who knows?
Yeah, I still haven't been able to get on Uphold.
We might be living in a new world. Who knows?
Well, take good care of you guys.
Same Zoom link.
All right, guys. We'll talk to you next week.
Thanks, John. Talk to you later.
Bye-bye.
All ashore, let's going ashore. Salute the captain. Thank you.